A massive explosion of flames tore through the quiet Colorado night at 2:47 a.m. My phone rang. My neighbor screaming, "Your house is on fire." I got there by 3:20 to pure chaos. Firefighters on defense. My beautiful 1920s craftsman, the house I built to honor my dead wife, engulfed in flames. The thick smell of gasoline everywhere. And across the street sat the HOA president, Brin, in her white Lexus SUV, engine running, just watching the blaze like it was entertainment. She thought no one saw her. But I knew exactly who did this. 4 months she'd been harassing me, fake violations, false police reports, sabotaging my tools, all to block the financial audit that would expose her stealing over $140,000 from neighborhood funds. This time she went full arson. What she didn't know. I'd installed hidden cameras 2 weeks earlier. And I'm not just the homeowner. I'm the local municipal court judge who would sign her arrest warrant and preside over her court case just days later. My name is Declan. And this is the story of the most satisfying courtroom karma you'll ever witness. Drop a comment. Where are you watching from? And stick around for felony charges, a confession on camera, and justice delivered from the bench. I'm 52. A widower. And for 2 days a week, I'm a municipal court magistrate handling traffic violations, small claims, the usual city ordinance disputes. The other 3 days? I renovate historical properties. Is therapy, honestly. After my wife Iris died 3 years ago, ovarian cancer, stage 4, the kind that doesn't negotiate, I needed something to do with my hands. Something where I could see progress. Where I could take something broken and make it whole again. Iris grew up in a 1920s craftsman bungalow. Yellow siding, deep front porch, those thick wood columns that look like tree trunks. Every holiday, every summer we'd visit her childhood home. She'd walk me through it, pointing out details. Original crown molding. The built-in breakfast nook. The way afternoon light hit the hardwood in the living room. When I found a near-identical craftsman in a neighborhood called Ponderosa Bluffs 40 minutes outside Denver, I didn't even haggle on price. I closed in January. The plan was simple. Gut renovate it. Restore every detail the way Iris described. Then donate it as transitional housing for cancer survivors. People who need a safe place to heal without worrying about rent. The house smelled like my grandfather's workshop. Old pine sap. Plaster dust. That specific scent of wood that's been holding up walls for 100 years. The floorboards creaked under my boots at 6 in the morning before the world woke up. I loved it immediately. Then I met Brin Castellane. She showed up the day I closed on the property. Heard her heels on the gravel driveway before I saw her. Sharp little clicks like a metronome set to annoyed. Bottle blonde bob. Tennis visor, even though it was January and overcast. Holding a clipboard like it was a weapon. "Your lawn situation is unacceptable," she said. "No hello. No, welcome to the neighborhood." I looked at the grass. It was January. The grass was dormant. CC and RS state grass height maximum 2.5 inches, she continued, pulling out a tape measure. An actual tape measure. "This is 4.7. I measured. I laughed. Thought she was joking. She wasn't joking. $150 fine, she said, handing me a pre-printed violation notice. Certified mail follows. Her perfume hit me next. Something aggressively floral. Like someone stuffed funeral lilies into a bottle of Windex. "I'm Brin Castellane, HOA president. 4th term." She said it like she was announcing royalty. Over the next 3 weeks I got 7 more certified letters. Mailbox wrong shade of black, apparently graphite noir, is unacceptable, only midnight onyx meets code. Construction dumpster visible from the street. Work truck parked in my own driveway overnight. Unapproved exterior paint sample, which was me testing wood stains on the back porch, invisible from the street. I started noticing a pattern. My neighbors had the same violations, same mailbox color, same work trucks, same construction mess, but they weren't getting letters. Just me. Then Brin said something that made the hair on my neck stand up. "This neighborhood has standards," she said, standing on my porch. "We can't have it looking like a construction yard for those people who flip houses for Section 8. The way she said, "those people." I tasted metal in my mouth. Adrenaline. Anger. The specific flavor of recognizing a dog whistle when you hear one. That's when I knew this wasn't about grass height. Late February. I'm replacing the electrical panel, hired a licensed electrician, pulled all the permits, everything by the book, when a county building inspector shows up. "Got a complaint," he says, looking uncomfortable. "Unpermitted electrical work." I show him my permits. Show him the electrician's license. Show him the inspection schedule we'd already filed. The inspector, older guy, name tag says Ernesto, looks at the paperwork, then at me. "Yeah, I figured. Want to see the complaint photos?" He shows me his tablet. Pictures of exposed wiring, junction boxes hanging open, electrical tape wrapped around frayed connections. Dangerous stuff. Except none of it's from MY House. "That's the previous owner's work," I say. "I'm fixing that. That's why I hired a licensed guy." Ernesto nods slowly. I believe you. But I still got to shut you down for 2 days pending reinspection. Complaints on file. Got to follow protocol. 2 days. $1,200 in lost contractor time. Can I ask who filed the complaint? I already know. Ernesto closes his tablet, lowers his voice. This is the third call from her this month. Different properties. She's persistent. After he leaves, I sit in my truck and do something I should have done 3 weeks ago. I pull every HOA meeting minute for the past 18 months. They're public record in Colorado. Anyone can request them. I spend 6 hours reading through bureaucratic nonsense. And that's when I find it. 3 board members got identical violations that I got: mailbox colors, work trucks, construction mess. But their violations were waived in closed session votes. No explanation. Just waived. I find something else too. The HOA pays a management company $8,500 a month for a 47-home neighborhood. I pull up industry standards. Should be $2,800, maybe $3,000 tops. $8,500 is insane. I check who owns the management company. It's Brin's sister. Now, here's something you need to know about HOA law in Colorado, and this applies in a lot of states. Board members have what's called fiduciary duty. Same legal standard as corporate directors. You can't use your position for personal gain. You can't give contracts to family members without disclosure and competitive bidding. Break that rule? You're personally liable. I screenshot everything. Timestamp every document. Build a spreadsheet that would make an accountant weep with joy. But I don't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I do something smarter. I request a copy of the HOA's directors and officers insurance policy. It's buried in the CC and RS that homeowners have a right to see this. Takes them 11 days to send it. When I open the PDF, I actually laugh out loud. The insurance lapsed 4 months ago. Brin forgot to pay the premium. Or chose not to. Either way, every board member is now personally exposed to lawsuits with zero coverage. I send copies anonymously to 3 homeowners whose waiver requests got denied. Within 48 hours, they show up at the next HOA meeting with printouts of the board members' waived violations. Why did they get waivers and we didn't? One asks. Brin goes rigid. Those were different circumstances. Different how? Looks like favoritism to me. Brin's face flushes. You're harassing HOA officers. That's a finable offense. So's breach of fiduciary duty. The meeting falls apart. 2 board members resign on the spot. 3 days later, I find a note on my truck windshield. Judges shouldn't play contractor. Someone could get hurt. I hold the paper up to my nose. Funeral lilies and Windex. My jaw tightens. She knows what I do for a living now. Someone talked. Most people would back off at this point. File a police report. Maybe get a restraining order. But I spent 3 years watching my wife fight an enemy she couldn't see, couldn't negotiate with, couldn't intimidate. Cancer doesn't care if you're scared. It just keeps coming. I learned something from Iris during those 3 years. When you're facing something relentless, you don't flinch. You don't blink. You outlast it. Late March. I'm at the courthouse when my phone rings at 2:15 in the afternoon. It's Gil, one of the neighbors. Declan, you need to get to your house. Something's wrong. I'm there in 30 minutes. There's a sheriff's cruiser in my driveway. I walk in through the back door and I see it immediately. My table saw, the power cord's been cut. Not frayed. Not damaged. Cut. Clean slice like someone used wire cutters. In the back room where I just refinished the hardwood floors, there's paint thinner spilled everywhere. The can's empty, tipped on its side. The finish is bubbling and peeling. Ruined. The door to that room was locked. Deputy Caitlin is taking notes. Mr. Declan, she says. Miss Castellane filed a report this morning. She claims you threatened her at last night's HOA meeting. I stare at her. I wasn't at the meeting. I was here in court. I pull out my phone, show her my calendar. I had docket until 7 p.m. I pull up the courthouse parking log. Every judge's vehicle gets logged in and out for security. See? Logged out at 7:14 p.m. Deputy Caitlin writes this down carefully. Her sister confirmed the threat. Says she witnessed it. Of course she did. Brin's sister, the one billing the HOA $8,500 a month. Deputy, I say slowly, I'm a municipal court magistrate. Do you really think I'd threaten someone knowing it would end my career? She looks at me for a long moment. No, sir. I don't. But I still have to take the report. Can I file a counter report? Vandalism? Breaking and entering? Yes, sir. But without cameras, it's your word against circumstantial evidence. After she leaves, I sit on the front porch and do math in my head. $2,400 in damages. It's not the money that bothers me. It's the message. I can get to you anytime. That night, I remember something a lawyer once told me. In Colorado, if 10% of homeowners petition for an independent audit, the HOA board has to comply. It's state law. They can't refuse. I pull up the HOA directory. 47 homes. 10% is 5 homeowners. I need 3 more signatures beyond the 2 I already have. Takes me 4 days. Quiet conversations. Showing people the spreadsheet. Explaining the lapsed insurance. Mentioning the $8,500 management fee. By Sunday I've got 7 signatures. We file the petition on Monday morning. Certified mail. CC to every homeowner in the development. Brin calls an emergency board meeting for Wednesday. Tries to make it closed session, which is illegal under Colorado's Open Meetings Act, by the way. The vote is 3-2 to allow the audit. 2 board members are terrified of personal liability now that the insurance situation is public knowledge. Brin loses. The audit gets scheduled. It'll take 60 days. That night I find a box I'd forgotten about. Iris's handwriting on the outside, house plans and dreams. Inside there's a sketch she drew. Watercolor pencils. Her neat architect's handwriting labeling each room. At the bottom she wrote, "A house should be a place where people heal." I sit on the porch until the sun goes down holding that sketch and I make a decision. This isn't about beating Brin anymore. It's about finishing what Iris started. But if Brin wants to keep coming at me, fine. I'm a patient man. I've sat in courtrooms watching criminals talk themselves into convictions for 15 years. I know how to wait. I know how to let someone dig their own hole while staying completely still. Iris used to say, "Don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake." So I won't. April 17th, 2:47 in the morning. My phone rings. It's Gil. His voice is tight. "Declan, your house is on fire." I'm dressed and in the truck in 90 seconds. The drive takes 23 minutes instead of 40. I can see the smoke before I even turn onto my street. 3 fire trucks. Neighbors standing in bathrobes and pajamas. Hoses snaking across the lawn. And the back half of my house, the addition where I'd restored Iris's childhood bedroom, it's just gone. Black skeleton ribs of framing studs sticking up against the orange glow. Firefighters are in defensive mode. They're not trying to save it. They're just keeping it from spreading to the neighbors. I park across the street. Get out. Stand there. The smell hits me first. Burned insulation has this specific chemical stench. Plastic and fiberglass and something almost sweet like melted candy. Fire marshal comes over around 4 a.m. "Mr. Declan, I'm Marshal Henriksen. Point of origin is the basement window, backside of the structure. Accelerant detected. Gasoline poured through broken glass." The words hit me like cold water. "This was arson," Henriksen says. "Intentional." I look at the ruins. At the melted window frames. At the pile of ash that used to be Iris's room. "Neighbor reported seeing a light-colored SUV leaving the area around 2 a.m., he continues. "Didn't get plates." Gil leans in close. "Brin drives a white Lexus SUV. I saw her drive past your place twice yesterday afternoon. Slow like she was studying it." I file that away. Don't react. Not yet. The next 10 days are a masterclass in frustration. Detective Ortega takes my statement. I walk him through the entire timeline, the harassment, the violations, the sabotage, the false police report. "It's textbook escalation," I say. "She's desperate to stop the audit." Ortega nods, but his face is neutral. Pattern's clear. But arson's hard to prove without physical evidence or confession. "What about the SUV sighting?" "Light-colored SUV. 2 a.m. No plates. Could be anyone." He pauses. "Her alibi is she was home asleep." Husband confirms. The case goes cold within 2 weeks. No arrest. No charges. Nothing. I should be angry. And I am. But I'm also something else. I'm patient. Because here's what I learned in 15 years on the bench. Criminals always come back to the scene. They can't help it. They want to see the damage. They want to confirm their work. They want to gloat. So I do 3 things. First, I file the insurance claim. Play the devastated homeowner. Let Brin think she won. Second, I start cleanup. Hire a crew. Begin debris removal. Act defeated in front of the neighbors. Third, and this is the important one, I install 4 hidden cameras. Motion activated. Cellular connected. Battery backup. 4K resolution. 1 on each corner of the property, angled to cover every approach. They're legal. It's my property. Single-party consent in Colorado means I can record anything that happens on my land. And I leave the house unlocked during the day. Not smart, right? Asking for trouble? Except that's exactly what I'm asking for. See, criminals with narcissistic tendencies can't resist returning to verify their victory. It's compulsive. 3 days later, my phone pings. Motion alert. Camera 2. I pull up the app. And there she is. Brin Castellane. Walking through my property at 2:20 in the afternoon. Looking around like she owns the place. Perfect. The audit report lands on June 3rd. 62 days after the fire. I'm in my chambers when I get the email. PDF attachment. 47 pages. I open it. Page 6 makes me sit up straight. Page 12 makes me whistle. Page 19 makes me laugh out loud. The auditor, a firm out of Colorado Springs, completely independent, didn't just find accounting errors. They found a crime scene. Here's what Brin and her sister's management company did. Over 3 years they billed the HOA for landscaping maintenance that never happened. Ghost invoices. Made up work orders. They'd create a fake receipt for $1,200 in tree trimming, submit it, get reimbursed, pocket the money. They did this 43 times. Total theft, $147,000. But wait, it gets better. Brin personally received $38,000 in consultant fees from her sister's management company. Never disclosed. Never voted on by the full board. Just payments for consulting on what? The audit doesn't say. Because there's no documentation. Because it was a kickback. The HOA's reserve fund, the emergency money that's supposed to cover major repairs, should have been $180,000. Current balance? $4,200. The money was transferred out in chunks over 2 years. Line item, emergency repairs. But there are no receipts. No contractor invoices. No work orders. The money just disappeared. And here's the kicker. To move that money, she needed dual signatures on checks over $5,000. That's in the HOA bylaws. President and treasurer both have to sign. The treasurer, a quiet guy named Potter, didn't sign those checks. Brin forged his signature. Twice. The audit includes forensic handwriting analysis. It's not even close. She didn't even try to make it look real. The auditor's final note says, the patterns observed suggest intentional misappropriation rather than accounting error. We recommend immediate referral to law enforcement. I forward the audit to all 47 homeowners. Within an hour, email chains are exploding. By that evening, there's a recall petition circulating. By the next morning, 3 board members resign. Potter files a police report for identity theft and fraud. The community meeting 4 days later is standing room only. 32 homeowners show up. Brin brings a lawyer. Expensive suit. The kind of guy who bills $400 an hour to say, no comment. Her defense? Accounting errors. My sister's bookkeeper made mistakes. We'll pay it back. One homeowner stands up. You stole $147,000 and you're calling it a mistake? Brin's face goes red. I didn't steal anything. This is a witch hunt orchestrated by people who hate following rules. Another homeowner, you forged Potter's signature. That's a felony. Brin's lawyer puts a hand on her shoulder, tries to quiet her. She shakes him off. This is ridiculous. I've given 4 years of my life to this community, and this is how you treat me. I'm sitting in the back row. Haven't said a word. Just watching. That's when my phone buzzes. Text from the courthouse clerk. FY, traffic case scheduled for you July 11th. Castellane Brin. Reckless driving. I read it twice. Close my eyes. And smile. June 21st. Every homeowner in Ponderosa Bluffs gets a 4-page letter in the mail from Brin. Expensive cardstock. Her real estate company's letterhead. The letter claims the audit is fabricated, and accounting errors blown wildly out of proportion. I'm specifically named, Declan. Last name, a municipal court magistrate has orchestrated a witch hunt because he was upset about legitimate code enforcement. She calls herself, the real victim. And threatens to sue me personally for defamation. $500,000. I finish reading. Set the letter down. Take a sip of coffee. And laugh. See, defamation requires a false statement. Everything in the audit is documented. Bank records. Forged checks. Ghost invoices. You can't defame someone by repeating facts. But she's not trying to win a lawsuit. She's trying to scare me. It doesn't work. The next day, she files an ethics complaint against me with the Colorado Office of Judicial Discipline. Anonymous. But the language is identical to her letter. Judicial ethics complaints are serious, even baseless ones. There's an investigation. Interviews. It goes in your permanent file. But I cooperate. Tell the truth. Forward the entire timeline. And wait. Meanwhile, I send Detective Ortega an email with an attachment. Subject. Evidence in arson case, trespass and tampering. The attachment is 43 seconds of 4K video showing Brin on my property removing evidence. 3 hours later, Ortega calls. I'm taking this to the DA today. July 7th, 8:45 p.m. There's a knock on my condo door. I check the peephole. It's Brin. My address isn't public. She had to dig for this. Or follow me. I open the door but don't invite her in. She looks terrible. Hair not styled. Makeup smudged. Yoga pants and oversized sweatshirt. Declan, please. I need to talk to you. You should talk to your attorney, not me. Please. Her voice cracks. 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I step into the hallway. Pull the door mostly closed behind me. I'm wearing a body camera. Small unit clipped to my shirt pocket. Recording. It's legal in Colorado. Single party consent. What do you want, Brin? She takes a shaky breath. I'll resign from the HOA. I'll step down. My sister will return the money, not all of it, we don't have all of it, but maybe $100,000. Good faith payment. I'll drop the defamation suit. I'll drop the ethics complaint against you. I don't say anything. Just wait. Just tell the DA to drop the charges, she says. You're a judge. They'll listen to you. I'm a municipal judge, I say slowly. Traffic violations. Small claims. I have zero authority over felony prosecutions. And even if I did, what you're asking is obstruction of justice. Her face twists. You're destroying my life over a few rule violations. Over some accounting errors. Your insurance paid for the house. You're fine. But you can't just let it go, can you? Accounting errors? My voice stays level. Come. You stole $147,000. You forged signatures. You committed arson. I didn't. She stops. Breeze. The fire was an accident. I just wanted to scare you. I didn't think it would spread that far. There it is. She just confessed. On camera. You wanted to scare me, I repeat, making sure it's clear for the recording. By setting my house on fire. She realizes what she said. Her eyes go wide. I didn't mean, that's not. Brin. You need to leave now. And you need to get an attorney. A criminal defense attorney. Not the guy handling your defamation suit. Someone who specializes in felonies. You're ruining my life, she's yelling now, mascara running. Over a fire. Your insurance paid for it. It was just property. It was my wife's dream, I say quietly. And you burned it to the ground because I asked for an audit. She starts crying. Then the crying turns to screaming. Then she sees the camera clipped to my shirt. Reaches for it. I step back. Don't. She freezes. Stares at the camera. At me. And then she runs down the hallway. Through the stairwell door. Gone. I go back inside. Lock the door. Download the video to 3 separate drives. And wait. The next morning, July 8, 11 a.m., Brin is arrested at her real estate office. Charges. Arson, Class 3 felony. Evidence tampering, Class 6 felony. Criminal trespass. Attempted bribery of a public official. Theft of HOA funds. Bail set at $75,000 cash. Her husband doesn't show up. Files for divorce the same day. The local news runs the story. It's the lead at 6 p.m. They interview Detective Ortega. He holds up a still image from my security footage, Brin standing in the burned-out ruins. Evidence speaks for itself, he says. July 11th, 8:45 a.m. I'm in my chambers putting on my robe. Black polyester. Zipper up the front. Colorado State seal on the left breast. I've worn this thing 1,000 times. Today it feels like armor. I check the docket one more time. Case hashtag 24, TRC 8844. City of Denver vs. Brin Castellane. Reckless driving. Ticket issued April 19th. 8 days after the arson. I walk into Courtroom 3B at 8:58. The gallery is packed. Municipal traffic court doesn't usually draw crowds. Today there are 32 people. I recognize faces. Homeowners. The news reporter with a photographer. Detective Ortega in the back row, arms crossed. And at the defense table, Brin Castellane and her attorney. Not her criminal attorney. A different one. Cheaper representation for, just a traffic ticket. Guy in a wrinkled suit. Probably 2 years out of law school. Looks nervous. Brin's facing away from me when I enter. The bailiff calls out, all rise. Court is in session. The Honorable Magistrate Declan presiding. She stands, turns, and sees me. The color drains from her face in stages. Spray tan orange to pale pink to courthouse marble. Her mouth opens, closes, opens again. No sound comes out. I take the bench, sit, arrange my papers. Good morning, I say. My voice is neutral, professional. Court is in session. Case number 24, TRC 8844. City of Denver vs. Brin Castellane. Defendant present. Her attorney stands. Yes, Your Honor. Miss Castellane, you're charged with reckless driving, exceeding the posted speed limit by 38 miles per hour in a school zone. How do you plead? Her attorney tries to speak. Your Honor, given my client's current legal circumstances, we request a continuance to. Denied, I say. I don't let him finish. This court's jurisdiction is limited to traffic matters. Your client's other legal issues are irrelevant to today's proceeding. Miss Castellane. How do you plead? Brin's voice is barely audible. Not guilty. Thank you. Prosecution, you may present. The city attorney plays the dashcam video. Crystal clear. Brin's white Lexus doing 93 in a 55. Kids visible on the sidewalk near a school crossing. The video also shows her throwing a lit cigarette out her window. And when the officer pulls her over, she makes an obscene gesture at him. The gallery murmurs. I look at the defense attorney. Your witness may testify if she wishes. He stands. Your Honor, my client admits she was speeding, but maintains the speedometer in her vehicle was malfunctioning. Miss Castellane, I say looking directly at her. Did you not notice that you were passing other vehicles traveling at normal speed? She stares at me. Doesn't answer. Miss Castellane? I was distracted. Were you aware you were in a school zone? Signs are posted 500 feet in advance. I don't remember. Did Officer Rodriguez inform you of your speed at the time of the stop? Yes. And what did you say when he told you? Long silence. Miss Castellane. She looks at her lap. I told him I had personal problems and he should leave me alone. What personal problems were distracting you on April 19th? Another silence. Issues at work. Issues serious enough to endanger children's lives, but not serious enough to prevent you from driving? No answer. I let the silence hang. 10 seconds. 20. Miss Castellane, I find you guilty of reckless driving as charged. Fine of $1,200. 6 points on your license. Mandatory driver improvement course. For the littering offense, additional $500 fine. 4 reckless endangerment in a school zone, 40 hours of community service. Brin stands up. Her voice cracks. This is bias. You're punishing me because of the HOA. The courtroom goes silent. I lean forward. Keep my voice calm. Miss Castellane. I have presided over 1,400 traffic cases in this courtroom. Every defendant who endangered children in a school zone receives this penalty. You are not special. You are not exempt. You are not a victim. I pause. The difference is most defendants show remorse. Her face twists with rage. You think you're so righteous? You're just a... My gavel comes down once. Sharp crack. Contempt of court. Additional $500 fine. Deputy, please escort the defendant out. Officer Caitlin walks over. Takes Brin's arm gently. Leads her toward the door. Brin's crying now. Shoulders shaking. As the door closes behind her, there's a beat of silence. Then quiet applause breaks out. I don't acknowledge it. Just gather my papers, rise and exit through the side door. The crack of the gavel still echoes in my ears. October 15th. 6 months after the fire. Brin takes a plea deal. She pleads guilty to arson and evidence tampering. Sentencing. 4 years in prison, 3 suspended, 1 year served. 3 years probation. 800 hours of community service. Full restitution to me, $127,000. Permanent restraining order. Colorado Real Estate Commission revokes her license permanently. The HOA civil lawsuit settles. Brin's sister's management company pays $183,000. The company declares bankruptcy. New board elected. Dues reduced 40%. My house gets finished in February. 10 months after the fire. I mount a brass plaque next to the front door. Iris's house, built with love, restored with purpose. The first resident moves in 3 days later. Her name is Shayla. 34 years old. Breast cancer survivor. Single mom. 2 kids. They get to live there rent-free for 12 months. That was always the plan. That was Iris's dream. Shayla cries when she sees the house. You're sure this is real? It's real, I tell her. Take your time. Yeah. That's what this place is for. With the restitution money from Brin, $127,000, I create a nonprofit, the Iris Fund. Mission, transitional housing assistance for cancer survivors. First year? We help 14 families stay housed during treatment. We launch an annual fundraiser. Raised $38,000 the first year. Brin's crime, her arson, her theft, her cruelty, ended up unifying a community and creating lasting good. There's an irony there that I think Iris would appreciate. I'm sitting on the porch of Iris's house at sunset. Shayla's kids are playing in the yard. And I realize, this is what Iris wanted. Not revenge. Not punishment. Just people healing together. So here's my question for you. What's your worst HOA nightmare? Drop it in the comments. The craziest story gets featured next week. And hit that subscribe button for more stories where the underdog actually wins. Because sometimes justice isn't just a feeling. It's a choice. Thanks for watching.